When it comes to birth control, the drug maker Bayer has the market cornered, but they also have more problems than any other company that I've seen out there, and I handle cases against these companies all the time. I have consumer lawyer Travis Lepiser with me now to give us the latest details about birth control devices that are ruining the lives of women, in fact, causing the deaths of women. Travis, the FDA drops the ball again. I mean, I've said it so many times on this show, it seems like almost every month there's another FDA failure that's killing people. And this is just another one of them. It's killing women. It seems like that women have become the target of the pharmaceutical industry and the device makers, where they're the ones suffering the most from the negligence of the company, and sometimes it's pure intent of the company, but certainly the dysfunctional nature of the FDA is causing a lot of these problems. Tell us about this Essure, this birth control issue.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me, Pap. Essure is a permanent contraceptive. It's intended to be a permanent contraceptive for women. And what it is two small metal coils that are inserted into a woman's fallopian tubes, with the intention of her skin, her tissue inside her fallopian tubes wrapping around these coils and blocking eggs from traveling down her fallopian tubes to prevent her from getting pregnant. So these tubes, or these metal coils, are inserted into her fallopian tubes in what the company says is a non-invasive procedure. So it's supposed to be very simple for the coils to be inserted, and it's supposed to be a much safer and less invasive alternative to having the woman's tubes tied, which is a traditional form of contraceptive.
Right. So the idea is that you create scar tissue within the fallopian tubes. The scar tissue actually is permanent. This is a permanent sterilization process. And rather than going through there are 2 or 3 ways to accomplish that, but this probably is the least attractive. If you look at this, what's happening from what the reports that I'm looking is you have breakage of these coils, and we'll show the viewers what it looks like on the screen here, but you'll have breakage from those coils. You'll have nickel allergies. You'll have heavy metals actually moving through the body and causing all the disease process that heavy metals can cause. In most of the time, that's autoimmune types of problems. And then you've got also the idea that this doesn't really even stop pregnancy. And the pieces that break off seem to be migrating through the body. Did I get that right? Is that kind of a constellation of the types of illnesses that we start seeing, or problems we start seeing?
In a nutshell, I think you've captured what we're seeing. A lot of the women who have the Essure devices implanted are complaining of your typical, general complaints of abdominal pain. And then when you look a little further into what these women are reporting, they are reporting that the device has migrated. They are reporting that the device has perforated their uterus, perforated their fallopian tubes, or migrated to other areas in the pelvic region, causing them severe pain. And to touch on the nickel allergy, this device is comprised of nickel, and many women have an allergy to that metal. And if they're not adequately tested, it can obviously cause problems with having this device inserted inside of a woman's body and having her scar tissue wrap itself around that nickel and be connected to that nickel constantly.
Well, one problem that most people are aware of when you call it's determined as an allergy, but what ends up happening when you trigger the autoimmune system, like the heavy metals have the ability to do, you're able to cause lupus, scleroderma, and a whole host of autoimmune kind of reactions. That's what we saw with the breast implant cases. That's what we've seen with so many implanted medical devices that women typically end up suffering through these various kinds of diseases. But what's clear to me, Travis, is the FDA knows all this. And Bayer, I think you'll find as you go further into this case, covered it up. There's no question you're going to find Bayer covering up some of the truth to the problem here. But the FDA knew about it, but they allowed it to happen anyway. What's your take on that?
That's correct. I mean, I think the FDA certainly knew about it, and the company knew about it as well. They knew that the product was comprised of nickel. They knew that if women were not adequately tested for whether or not their body could handle having the device implanted in them, that there would be serious repercussions. Unfortunately, this device was approved through something that's called pre-market approval, which is an FDA process that really shields the company who manufactured the device from liability for any harm that their device is causing. So when this product first came on the market in 2002, it was approved through FDA's pre-market approval process. And what that
means is they don't test anything. They don't have any independent testing. They have to take the word of the people putting it on the market, in this situation, Bayer, and that's no protection for the individual, is it?
That's correct, and that's essentially what they did. They took the numbers that the manufacturer had presented to them in the pre-market approval process. They took them at face value. They didn't really look into them any further as far as the reports of pain that women were indicating in the initial studies when this product was first being looked at by the company. So there was plenty of information out there that should have tipped the FDA off that this product was going to be problematic and that it should not have received pre-market approval. Yet the FDA eventually did grant pre-market approval, and we now have a situation where we can tell that these women are being injured by this product, but they have very little recourse because the FDA has granted pre-market approval to the eSure device.
Not just injured, but dying. You have deaths again where the FDA has done a sloppy, awful job, and more people are dying because of it. And I don't see any change coming, to tell you the truth. We thought we would see a change with this administration. It only got worse with this administration. Travis, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Pat.